Vladimir Putin announced that he'd like to negotiate an end to the war with Ukraine. Seems kind of strange. He invaded 10 months ago. He's been wreaking havoc in Ukraine for all of those 10 months. So why now would he want to negotiate an end to the war? Well, mainly because he's starting to look stupid. The Russians are losing the war on the ground. In many cases, the Ukrainian military are pushing Russians out of the country. Sure, there are some Russian airstrikes, but they're mostly on civilian targets, avoiding the Ukrainian military. So Vladimir Putin isn't looking too good in this situation, and if things continue the way they are, he will be flat out embarrassed, and that is the last thing that Vladimir Putin wants to do. So, of course, now he'd like to negotiate a deal. But Vladimir Putin has an even bigger problem. Because he needs to look good coming out of this war, he's going to expect concessions from Ukraine. But at this point, Vladimir Zelensky is not going to concede anything. He just wants all Russians out of his country, Crimea and all. And that's going to be an embarrassment for Vladimir Putin. So the question is, how do they negotiate this? I suggest that the Ukrainians will just say, we're going to dig in and we'll fight you to the death, which is not what Vladimir Putin wants, because he can't look good at this point. So Vladimir Putin is caught between a rock and a hard place. His country is suffering. Thousands of his people, his military, are dying. This is not a good time for Vladimir Putin. He painted himself into a corner, and now he can't figure a way out. His only hope is that the Ukrainians say, oh, we're so tired of this, we'll give you whatever you want. But Zelensky's not going to do that. The war will continue until Vladimir Putin pretty much backs off. And we know that isn't likely to happen. So as much as he wants the war to end, he's going to have to give some. And that's just not Vladimir Putin's specialty, giving in at all. So I suspect this war will continue for a while, at least as long as Vladimir Putin stays alive or can handle the embarrassment.